Hello everybody, my name's Nicola and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage, where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. Today's video is all about a budget update for the third week of May. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let's get started. So as always, I'm sat here with my trusty budget planner. I love this system, I've been using it for a long time now and it's something that works for us. However, you need to find out what system works for you. This is available to download on my site and June's one will be up by the end of the week. This is the overview, the bills calendar page if you like. It doesn't change really from month to month. You can see I've got my little stickers there that show our monthly bills that go out. I do have a couple more to add from next month, but that's what this looks like. This doesn't change at all. I kind of stick them on at the start and then it's there as a visual representation of the bills that go out. Next page is the monthly budget. I'm slightly different in that I do my variable expenses at the start, because you see that I do that in my budget with me video at the start, like the budget setup for the month. I then do these at the end of the month. So I do my income at the end because we get paid towards the end of the month, and then these again just at the end, because these are all just the same every month. These numbers don't change. I am thinking of slightly changing this page in this, maybe not next month but maybe going forward after the summer, we'll see. But that's the budget for now. Today I'm going to talk an update about these variable expenses and show you how they are going. So the next page is a debt repayment plan. I don't use this page because thankfully I do not have any debts, but it's a really good way of tracking just what you have, the extra debt payments you do if any, and the progress about trying to get rid of that. Sinking funds, again nothing on there. I've mentioned those so many times, I'm not going to talk about those today in great detail. They will start up again at some point. I think during June things will start to kind of shift back, not to normal, but kind of shift back towards some kind of resemble of being able to do slightly more. I might try and do a bit of selling on Facebook and eBay. We've kind of accumulated things, and because we've not been able to get rid of them either to a charity shop or to the tip or whatever, there are quite a few things that I think I could probably try and sell. So we'll see, and if I do that then the money from those will go into our sinking fund, so we'll see how that goes in the next month or so. Then the next page is my no spend day tracker. So this Start no spend day tracker is a different kind of section of this budget planner. You can get just the no spend day trackers on my site if you just want those. You can get 12 months, so it's January to December, but you can also print them as many times as you want. I quite like, again, I talk about this a lot, I like the visual representation of being able to see just how my spending is going. I know no spend days don't work for some people and that's absolutely fine. I've had them for so long in our budget now that I really like them, and I use it to show if I'm getting kind of into the habit of spending more regularly. So if I'm suddenly having quite a few in a row, or I notice that I'm spending every Thursday, for example, then I know that there must be something that happens on that day to make me spend. Does that make sense? So how many have I had? So 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm up to 16. I'm filming this on the 24th. So I'm aiming for 20. As you can see at the bottom it says aim equals 20 and I've already got a 16. So I feel like unless something weird happens this next week, you know, and touch wood it won't, I feel like I'm going to get to 20 fairly easily. We haven't got any plans as per usual because we never seem to have any plans now. It's just another week at home. We went out last week for a couple of walks, which was lovely, and it was so good to have a change of scene, so we might try that. It's just weird, isn't it? And also I get really anxious that we're going to bump into somebody else when we're out, so I don't know what to do this week. We probably might just, I don't know, stay at home. I think it'll be weird when we're finally allowed to just go out, to actually just go out. I think it's going to be very much of an adjustment period. I don't think my children worry, they don't. In fact, my 4-year-old is really good. We went for a walk yesterday and we met some other people coming down the path, and he immediately, as soon as he saw these people from quite far away, he got right to the side of the path, as far as he could get without falling off it basically, and stayed right next to me in the side of this path until we were completely past these other people. And I hadn't asked him to do that, I didn't have to say anything, he did it before I'd even noticed them. And I was really pleased that he'd done that without kind of being prompted, because it makes me worry less, but at the same time like, oh, he shouldn't need to have to try and stay away from people as far as he can. I don't know, it's a really weird, it made me feel a bit sad at the same time as knowing that I can trust him to do that. So anyway, but the next week I think I might at least manage 4, if not 5. And then that would be target done. That would be my aim complete, which would be good, but we'll see. Moving on. So my expense tracker. I'm still just on the first page, which is good. That you get 3 pages of the expense tracker in the budget planner as such. I tend to need to go onto the second page. I'm just looking back in April. Did I go onto the second page in April? I think I probably did. Oh no, I didn't. So, and this is the knock-on effect of being at home. So actually I didn't use any, I only used the first page in April, and I may be able to stick to the first page in May as well. And let me tell you, since this started, that has been one of the silver linings, is that I just haven't had as many transactions on this expense tracker because we can't go anywhere. So all the things like soft play or gymnastics, or we've been to the park and got an ice cream, or, you know, all the kind of little things that you used to take for granted, because I totally took them for granted all the time, and it's so strange. They'd all be on here, but because we're just at home, you can see it's just Morrison's, Sainsbury's, Amazon, Morrison's, you know, it's just the kind of the basics. So food, the food shop. Amazon was my lovely shelves in my office that I keep talking about. If you've watched my video on, or the last couple of videos, I'll leave them linked below, but you'll see those shelves in the background, and my new plant, which I'm loving having in the background. But it's also really handy because I've now got a printer that can sit on the shelves and be slightly more organised, or pretend to myself that I'm slightly more organised. But the expense tracker is just the basics. We finally, if you can see here, we finally had to put petrol in the car. I think we've gone over a month without putting petrol in the car. Let me see if we put any in April. Now normally I budget around, so we put some petrol in the car on the 5th of April, and we managed to then go until the 19th of May without putting any more in. Now I normally go through about 120 to 140 pounds worth of petrol a month when I'm at work. So that again has been a massive saving over the past kind of couple of months. And it's those little things, like it's the things that add up but are necessary normally that are making the biggest impact. And this should here, if it continues as normal like it appears to be doing at the moment, then this here, this petrol for £30 here should last us ages again. So yes, I'm pretty happy with that so far, but you'll see, just because I've stayed on that first page there does not mean I'm staying under budget, as you'll see in a second. So here we are with the weekly check-in. I like to do this, it's a good way to check in terms of how much you spent during one week, but also how much you've got remaining in your budget. Now you can see from there in week 3, I am now over budget in 2 areas. I can't remember the last time that happened. However, the reasons for it are very simple. A, we are spending so much more money on food at the moment. Things just like we just still can't get supermarket brand things. And if that's, for example, in last week we got risotto rice. Now supermarket own brand risotto rice is about £1.70 cheaper, just for the same kind of packet size. But we've had to get the branded, in fact the only option that was there in the supermarket this week for that. Now if that's on kind of 10, 11, 15 items in your food shop, that's automatically adding on, I don't know, £20, £30 onto just one food shop. And we are finding that we're not particularly buying so much more that would make such a big difference. But what we are buying is costing us more. And also I feel like they've put the prices up recently. Does anybody else feel like their supermarket has put prices up of like really basic stuff? I think ours has. So that's something to figure out. Whenever I can get back to going to the supermarket, I still don't feel particularly comfortable doing that. And believe me, I wish I could with my little cash envelopes. But I will look into that because I feel like prices have gone up, and that also combined with the not being able to find like non-branded stuff has made a big difference in our food budget. So you can see there. So, and the reason why the food spend looks so much this week is because my husband went last Sunday. So I do our budget weeks from Sunday to Saturday. So last week he went on Sunday, and then he also went yesterday because we'd run out of things like bread and milk, and when you're having to queue for like half an hour to get into a supermarket, it was just easier for him to do the whole shop. So we've actually done 2 food shops in 1 week this week, which is why it looks so high. They were both around 60, one was about £62 and then one was £64. So that's not too bad. However, I've gone over budget because I'm minus £4 in the budget, which is annoying me, don't get me wrong. And I think if we'd been able to buy more of the non-branded items that we would normally, that would still be under, but there's nothing I can do about that at the moment. Petrol wise, so that's, like I said, we've just filled the car up for the first time in over a month, well over a month. £30 there, our petrol. The petrol we get is from Morrison's, and that's currently 99p, 99.7p, which is the lowest it's been in, well, I couldn't even tell you how long. But we put £30 in there, so I reduced the petrol budget anyway to £80 for the month, and we've only put £30 in, and don't see us spending any more than that anytime soon, so that's a really, really good saving in terms of our monthly budget. Miscellaneous, £25.96. Now, I was already over budget in the miscellaneous category, and that purely is because I spent £50 odd on these shelves, which were a kind of a planned purchase but not factored into the budget planned purchase, if that makes sense. If I didn't count those in this, which obviously I'm going to because we've spent it, I wouldn't be over budget, but because I have, we're already at £34 and 4 pence over budget. The thing is, like, for one-off expenses, what do you do about them? So, for example, this month we've had to pay for our car insurance because our car insurance is due in May, and we've paid it, and we always pay it in one go because that's how we like to do that. It isn't written in here because it's not a monthly spend, does that make sense? It's like a one-off spend. So on my big overall spreadsheet that I always transfer all this information to at the end of a month, right at the end, so that I can save it and have it, and it's all got like graphs and all sorts on there, but I prefer the pen and paper day to day. That car insurance payment is on the kind of the spreadsheet, but it's not in this because it doesn't count in any of this. It's like a one-off category. If you do this as a budget, how do you deal with the one-offs? Do you write them in your budget for the month? Because I knew it was coming up, it's always in May, and you get an email, don't you, saying your car insurance is due in 21 days, but I don't write it in here. And maybe I shouldn't have done those shelves, I don't know, because the shelves are what's made me go over budget, so I don't know. Anyway, so, and finally, children, not spent anything on those this week. It's easily mean that we're not spending money on them, but we're not going anywhere or doing anything. And obviously their food and household stuffs, if you like, just come under the food and miscellaneous budget, as ours do. So still not spent much on those, so they've still got £81 remaining in their budget pot, so to speak. And unless I order anything for them this week, which I don't intend to, that will remain the same for the end of May. So I won't do the monthly overview until the end of the month. So like I said, that should be filled in because I've done that, did that on payday on Friday. I've not made any extra income, not used the bill tracker, I don't use it, and then that's the weekly checking. So you can see it's not been the best month finances wise in terms of spending in some areas, although the ones we've not spent in balance it out, I suppose. But that's the update for week 3. I'm feeling okay with it, I'm feeling good about that. Although it shows that just because you're on one page doesn't mean you're on track. No spend days look good, I'm pleased with those. I think I'll hit my aim this month. And that's pretty much it for me. I am still working on figuring out when I can get my cash envelopes back. I just don't feel that comfortable with the idea of using cash yet. And I don't know when it'll feel like that's okay to do either. How are you doing? Is your budget going okay? Are you finding you're spending in more areas than not? I think most people would say that they're spending more in their food budget, and that is not, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a sign of the times. But I hope you're doing okay and staying safe at home if you are able. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.